Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus. You are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
Dio, what is popping today?
Football season is in full swing. I care.
Nobody cares.
I care. I just watched my UCF Knights go 1-0.
They beat up on a high school team.
They did. They beat up on Kent State. Do you even know what state Kent State is in?
Ohio.
It is in Ohio, yes. Can you tell me two really cool facts that you know about Kent State?
It has a eagle for a logo, and their field is blue. Just throwing it out there.
The field is blue happens in Boise State,
Yeah.
where I'm going to be next week
I laid it up
for
for
the
you.
UCF game.
See what I did for you there?
I do not believe that they have an eagle, and I think they're the Golden Flashes. But no, two cool things about Kent State. One, they are in Ohio. My daughter thought they were in Kentucky. Kind of makes sense. Kentucky.
Okay.
So she thought Kent State
Ohio's
was maybe
next to Kentucky.
It is, yep. And shout out to my buddy Rob. Rob said that Kent State's like 20 minutes outside of where he grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. Well, Rob grew up in Youngstown.
How much money did UCF pay Kent State to beat them by 45 points?
They beat them by 50. But no, so if you remember from your history books, the Vietnam War,
Nope.
Kent State, the students protested,
Uh-huh.
brought in the National Guard. Tragic event, National Guard opened fire on the students. So there's what we call the Kent State Massacre. And speaking of college football, the one, the only Nick Saban
Who?
got his start at Kent State.
Who?
Yeah, so John, it's football season. We're super excited. And
Can't wait for
NFL season starts right around the corner.
Can't wait.
Fantasy football drafts have been going
God.
on. We missed you.
I can't.
We did the Office
I'm
fantasy
not.
football
I don't do
draft.
fantasy football. I might as well just give you my money.
You did one year,
It's
didn't
for
you?
children.
Well, hold on.
I
What,
did it
money's for children?
No, playing fantasy football is for kids. I
Yeah.
don't care about how many office pulls you have. You people are all losers.
Okay, well, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and we missed you in the Office fantasy football draft. We got pizza, wings, free food. You love free.
Nah, man.
You love free.
No.
You love pizza, and you weren't there. Yeah, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about you coming in more so you get some free pizza, play fantasy football
Psych.
with us.
Nah.
All right, so today's episode, you ready to jump into this?
Wow.
Hey,
No. This is how it should be. This is for you, all those fans that bitch and complain about Dio and his what do you call it? House chores. What do you call them?
to me,
Housekeeping.
this is fun.
Housekeeping.
To me, when we have our 3-hour daily radio show, we can do this and bring the knowledge and bring the noise and bring the entertainment.
Yeah, but no, we're not today. We're
Look,
hopping
this
right into
is
it.
the Loan
Oh,
Officer
God.
Podcast. This
I'm
is
s-
everything
shit.
you should have learned in school but didn't because it wasn't taught.
Or you weren't paying attention like me.
Or you were just like JC and you were not paying attention.
But no, today we're talking about
We are going to open up our own YouTube channel that is not podcast specific.
maybe.
No, we're going to. Yeah, it might not happen this year. It may happen next year. But we will have it. That way we can do the 8 to 15 minute YouTube kind of medium form content, not shorts that are like a minute or two and not this long form podcast that we record that's 35 to 45 minutes. But we're going to do the 8 to 10 minute vignettes. And we'll have an entire channel that's basically called Shit They Don't Teach You in School.
Mm-hmm.
Today's episode is going to be geared more towards that. This is for anyone 18 plus, anyone looking for their first career, for a career change, or for a career improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And it's essentially things that I've done throughout my career, either as a hiring manager, what I've witnessed and experienced, the do's and don'ts, as a mentor to UCF's College of Business students. This is the advice that I have been, and others like me have been sharing with these students. They've been then internalizing and then using to land their first career opportunity. This is also the same advice that I give to thousands of younger mortgage professionals who are newly licensed, who tune into the show, they love the show, and they want more assistance, I'll call it. I was going to call it access, but more assistance to how they should get hired. So the whole entire episode titled something on the lines, John, of...
You told me, but I forgot. That's where I wrote it down.
Okay, it's going to be something like the career you desire is not on Indeed.
But that's
or
what-
the career you want is not found on Indeed. But the whole episode is going to be, how do I stand out in the crowd? How do I land that interview? How do I do well on the interview? And what do you mean the career I want's not on Indeed? Because I can go on Indeed right now and I can search for job openings.
Find me a couple.
Yeah, and guess what? You can find lots of job openings.
It can't hard to find a career.
It may be difficult to find a career.
A job ain't a career.
And we're not saying that it won't happen. I'm just saying that statistically, when I follow the patterns, when I interview top professionals in various industries, and you start finding a common theme, the common theme was that person who loves their career, who has a true career, a profession. They speak their own language. They have their own jargon, which, by the way, John, I don't know if you know that. That is what makes a profession a profession.
When you have acronyms and...
Well, think about it. Cops speak cop language, and doctors and nurses speak a medical language, and attorneys speak their language, and
marketing people speak their language.
People in film and in production have their own.
It's so corny.
Okay, we have our own. If you're in the restaurant industry.
Yeah, I got on the fly means I messed up your order, so now I got to give this to you to go for free. I found that out.
Well, on the fly means quickly.
So everything.
Comp is free.
Whoa.
86 means we're out of it. Corner means I'm
on the fly means make it quickly.
Yes.
Then everything should be on the fly. I don't understand, why is that just reserved when they mess up my order?
Then make it extra quick.
Bullshit.
Okay, well, that's what on the fly means. But the point being, a profession is a profession when it has its own jargon. Okay, and a lot of times people end up in jobs, and jobs aren't forever. Jobs aren't things people tend to take serious. That's, for the most part, why I don't like the word job. Right? I love the word career because many of us, that's what we're craving. Many of us have a job, and we need to recognize, hey, that's just a job. Let's go find you a career.
It's called being a husband.
Is that your career, or is that your job?
Full-time job.
Okay, there you go. But your career is podcast producer? What do you tell people your career is, Sean?
I don't. They say, what do you do? And I'm like, do you have time? I really don't. Whatever depends wherever the wind's blowing that day. That's what I tell people.
Interesting. I have actually narrowed mine down to this.
Okay, yeah. What do you do, Dustin? So what do you do? I'm
in mortgage and real estate.
Thank you. God.
It's just easier. I'm in mortgage and real estate, right? That is the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Then that rabbit hole is going to take about, you got 5. That's a long elevator ride if you're going to tell them the whole story.
Yeah.
Well, I started in TV advertising in Atlanta. Funny story, Coca-Cola. I love adjunct professors. That's what,
you've heard that once or twice. Yeah, there we go. Shout out Dr. Stansberry. He's getting to tell the story, the Dr. Stansberry story.
Yeah.
But no, I'm in mortgage and real estate. And then I sometimes, depending on how much time they have, I'm like, my passion's my podcast, though. Oh, you have a podcast? Let me get into that.
God,
yeah, what's your podcast about? Blah, 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 blah. Right? So nonetheless, let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Here's what I mean when I tell or explain or teach that in my experience, the world according to Dustin, the way that I've lived it, that the career opportunity you want is not on Indeed is because typically career opportunities come from your circle of influence, your network. The best opportunities sometimes don't even get posted.
Hell no.
Because internally, they start looking to source it either with an internal candidate or within someone who is already attached to a candidate who's external, but they can make a warm introduction to the hiring manager. And if that warm introduction is someone who's in good standing with the company, well, most of us understand birds of a feather flock together. So whether you are a younger professional or whether you are looking to change careers, you're newly licensed in whatever it is that you're looking to do, the very first thing I'm going to tell you if you came to me for advice or mentorship is you need to work your network. You need to reach out to your ex-neighbors, reach out to your ex-classmates, reach out to friends of friends, your family. Casually, professionally, and politely, give them a call, give them a text, drop them an email, slide into their DMs, ask them what's up, see what they're doing, and then just simply ask them, hey, do you have 5 or 10 minutes? I'd love to hop on a call with you. Oh, what's it about? Oh, I have some career opportunities that I'd like your advice on. Most people are down to give advice. Sometimes people like me, we give advice too much. People are like, yo, quit giving me unsolicited advice. I didn't ask you for it. We're just trying to help, by the way. We really are. We have big hearts, but it can be too much. But if you ask them, when you get them on the phone, ask them, who do you know? Hey, by the way, who do you know? What do you do for a living? Do you like it? Tell me more about that. Well, this is what I'm looking to get into. Do you know anyone? Can you make an introduction to me or introduction for me? So work your circle. And a lot of times, especially if that profession is anything that is sales, marketing, client interaction, account management, your job is going to have to entail networking. So you might as well network your butt off to land that first interview. And if you don't have that big of a circle, then start researching trade organizations and their groups and join their groups, whether it's a group on Facebook, whether it's a group that meets once a month for lunch. Join that particular trade organization, start attending their meetings and network. Let people know who you are. Let people know what you're looking to do. Ask them questions like, hey, is your company hiring? Hey, by the way, I'm looking to get into this field or work for this company. Do you know anyone? Because that is what it's going to take. You have to fight for your right to
interview for a job.
Yeah, or party.
Oh yeah, I know that. Beastie Boys.
There you go. Yeah, but you got to go kick some doors down sometimes.
Sometimes
you have to wiggle those handles. Sometimes the doors aren't just wide open.
Yeah, sometimes you got to sleep on the floor overnight to get that job done.
Yes. So it's like, how bad do you want it? For our college students, this is what internships are all about. I love, love, love internships. You've probably heard me say this before, John, 17 times. I've had 7 internships when I was in college.
I couldn't even get an internship when I applied, so good for you.
I had 7 of them. You know what all 7 of them taught me?
This is the shit I do not want to do.
100%. It taught me what I did not want to do for a living. But you know what? It also exposed me to being in an office environment. Mm-hmm. It demystified some of it. Mm-hmm. It let me know that, hey, although these people are older, they're not any more special, mm-hmm. or they're not any more of an F up or less of an F up than I am.
They actually are.
Right? They are just normal people who have some experience, and getting to be around them, I get to hear their conversations, and it gave me a good sense of what it meant to work in an office environment. How did they dress? How did they talk? How did they look? What time did they show up? What did they drive? Like all of those things mm-hmm. definitely resonated, but the 7 internships taught me what I didn't want to do. Now, they looked amazing on my resume. On my resume, when I moved to Atlanta looking for a job, like, dang, NFL Europe, K92 FM, Yesowich Pepperdine and Brown. I mean, interiorsunlimited.com. Wow. 7 internships? Yes, I had 7 internships. And all they let me learn was what I didn't want to do. For some people, the internship, it leads them mm-hmm. to their first career opportunity. Mm-hmm. They went there. They fell in love with it. The people liked them. They liked the people. And all of a sudden, when it came to graduation day, well, the W knows better than W don't, both for employer and employee, they felt comfortable. They went into a relationship with each other. That relationship was that first career opportunity. So first and foremost, that's what I mean when I say the career you want is not on Indeed. It's not. It's within your control, your circle of influence. You have the power to go out and create the best opportunity just by asking the right questions, showing up to the right meetings. Now, if you're going to show up to the meetings, just word to the wise, y'all, you better look good and you better smell good and you better sound good. First impressions still matter. What are you wearing? How much perfume or cologne are you wearing or not wearing? How potent is that particular body wash or that particular hair product?
Or that strain, yeah.
Did you smoke a bowl in the car on the way there?
That strain of cannabis might follow you all day.
It will. 100% it will. Did you smoke a cigarette? Did you smoke a Black and Mild? Like that, those smells turn people off, right? Whether it's for your good or someone else's good, they still smell. It's a smell. Too much cologne, too much perfume turns people off, right? Cigarette smoke turns people off. Reeking of beer, it turns people off. So it is about how you look, how you smell, and then how do you speak? Do you speak with proper grammar? Do you enunciate? Do you make eye contact? Do you smile? Do you have a firm handshake? Like all of that matters. And on the dress thing, you don't need to show up in a ball gown. You don't need to show up in a tuxedo. But you need to understand that if you're going to show up and you are going to be the least experienced person in the room, the least educated person in the room, the unknown person, sometimes the youngest person, you need to be dressed at a minimum as good as the person interviewing you. I would tell you one step higher. Mm-hmm. If that person is in slacks and a button down, you need to be in slacks, a button down, and a blazer. If that person is in shirt and tie, you need to be in a suit, right? If that person's in what I'm wearing today, which is my UCF polo tucked into a pair of slacks and dress shoes.
Go Knights.
Go Knights again. At worst, you can be dressed the same as me, but I would tell you, not for an interview. Not for an interview.
Have you talked with someone on the phone and never seen them, and they show up like, wow, that guy crushed it on the phone, and they show up in flip-flops, and you're like, yo, what the hell?
Yes. Not in flip-flops, but I've had someone show up in black jeans, untucked, black button-down shirt. Sloppy AF, man. Sloppy. Minimum tuck the shirt in. And look, I don't need you to go to Jose Banks or Nordstrom or call up our boy Jeff over at Tom James and drop, $800 to $800 on clothes. Go to freaking Target and buy yourself a couple pair of slacks and a couple button downs. You can go and buy a sports coat that can go with 3 different button down shirts and 2 different pair of pants. I mean, for a couple $100, you can have 3 pair of pants, 3 polos, and 2 button downs. Mm-hmm. And as long as you tuck it in, you have a belt on, and the belt matches your shoes. Yeah, that's a great starter kit to get you going until you can invest in a more professional wardrobe. So that's just a little bit of a word to the wise, like when you score that meeting. Now, sometimes scoring a meeting, we didn't talk about this yet, but you may need to actually cold call the career opportunity that you desire. I think about my friend Joey. My friend Joey knew he wanted to work at Raymond James. He just knew it. He lived in Tampa, Florida. He's like, that's where I want to work. Now, Joey was doing a career transition. So that career transition had him going back to college, finishing his 4-year degree because he had a technical degree in like AutoCAD where he used to design master closets for rich people's mansions. Okay, it's what he did. He was a designer and he used AutoCAD. He was going back to school, University of Florida, to get his finance degree, so he knew he wanted to go work at Raymond James. He must have applied for 7 different jobs.
Hell yeah.
He showed up on site, on campus, with his resume because he wasn't getting callbacks. And the lady finally, he worked so hard to get recognized, like, we know who you are, Mr. Joey. We see you in your resume coming across, but every single time you're either underqualified or overqualified. And because he walked in there, by the way, wearing a bow tie. He was wearing a bow tie suit with bow tie stand out. He did that on purpose. He at least was able to get someone to acknowledge him, talk to him, and then he had his shot, took a shot. He said, ma'am, sir, here's all I want to do. I'm willing to start at the bottom. This is where I want to make my career. I'll start in the mailroom. I am 3 semesters away from achieving my bachelor's degree from University of Florida in finance, and I know this is where I'm going to want to work once that is achieved. He got his opportunity. When he got his opportunity, he didn't squander it. But what it took was just applying to the 7 job requisitions that Raymond James was posting on their website wasn't enough. He had to go there, dressed to impress, with a smile and a firm handshake, and get someone to acknowledge him, and then he pitched them in person. They got him an interview. He won the interview, and he worked there for, I want to say, 10 years. Like, that's a solid career. Various departments, various promotions. For his first 2 years, he only wore a bow tie. Everyone else was in slacks and a polo. He was still in his bow tie. I asked him, why are you doing that, Joe? Isn't that kind of weird? He said, I want to stand out. I want the CEO and CFO to know who I am. They might not know my name, but they know me as the bow tie guy. That way, when I joined the Young Professionals Network within that particular company, again, I'm the bow tie guy. When I joined this particular charitable organization within the company, the bow tie guy. Everywhere they look, there's the bow tie guy. His goal was that when there's a time for a promotion, people just knew the bow tie guy. Hey, you should go to talk to the bow tie guy. He also knew that he had to network within his company. That is something I don't know if enough people recognize. You work for a large Fortune 500 type company. What are you doing to network within it?
Entrepreneurship from our friend Louis Valsaint.
Hey, if you want to go back to like episode 13
or something.
13, yeah. Hey, that was a phenomenal episode. But like those are things that people who are very career focused and career minded that they're doing, they are intentional about every action, and they are understanding and recognizing that you need to network within your own industry, within your own, well, not industry, yes, but also within your own company. And at the same time, like, let's also kind of like lay out the basic foundations. You can't be a stick in the mud. You can't be a jerk. You can't be a mean person and expect people to go out of their way for you. You have to be a gracious person. You have to show gratitude. You have to be receptive to coaching. You have to be open to new ideas, right? All of this is what those people who are career-minded should know. You also have to like be dependable, be accountable, and do good work.
Oh,
Like,
shit. Damn.
yeah.
I left that out.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
And then let me touch on this before we like find a way to conclude and wrap up this episode. And this is more on the interviewing side. When you interview for that career opportunity that you didn't find on Indeed, please understand that you're going to gain the interviewer's respect when you start interviewing them. Come equipped knowing a thing or two about them, a thing or two about the company, a thing or two about the position, but also have at least 3 questions to ask them. And those questions better not be about comp and benefits.
Oh.
That interviewer is more than willing to discuss comp and benefits with you. But if the first 2 questions out of your mouth are comp related and benefit related, I'm going to tell you I'm out. I'm out. You can ask me about career trajectory. You can ask me questions about other people that you have hired that were in my role and where are they now. Mm-hmm. You can ask me questions as it pertains to why I think this is a great place to work or why I think this opportunity is a good opportunity for someone like the person being interviewed. It just can't be about comp and benefits. And you sure as shit better not ask me about PTO.
People do that on the first.
Look, it matters. It matters.
I guess
it
so.
absolutely matters, but it should not be the first question. But you do need to come equipped with questions and make sure that you are sitting up straight. Make sure you're making eye contact, and make sure you have questions to ask as well as you have answers to give when you're being asked the question. And you should be able to respond to where do you see yourself in 3, 5, and 7 years. That's a pretty basic generic. Mm-hmm. You should be able to answer the questions, why should I hire you versus someone other than you? And write this down. You need to be able to tell stories about how in your life you have either overcome adversity to achieve. Tell stories how you have been recognized as being the best at something. Tell me a story when I'm interviewing you that makes you stand out, that makes you memorable. They don't do a good enough job of covering these particular situations in most classrooms. There's definitely some classrooms where they do it. There's some clubs that you can join, especially when you're in the post-high school realm. But most of it takes practice.
Yeah, you got to go get interviewed for a bunch of jobs and not get a call back. That's what happened
Well,
to me.
let me cover that too.
Yeah, I know.
Let me cover that too. If you are a 22-year-old who has never held a job.
Yeah, don't get mad. They ain't calling your ass back.
And no internship.
They ain't calling you back.
You look like trash. I don't care what your GPA was and how prestigious your university was.
Oh, I know.
I want that kid that worked for 2 years at Chick-fil-A and 1 year at Publix. Plus, they had 2 internships. I don't care if their GPA was a 3.0 or a 4.0. I don't care if they graduated honors college or not honors college. It matters more that they have real world experience. They're used to having a boss. They're used to being told what to do. They're used to having to juggle their hours. Like, these are things that are real life experience that I think the kids that do it, they take for granted what advantage they're going to have against their when they go against their peers down the line.
Translation: you need to work at shitty jobs that you hate straight out of college for at least 3 to 5 years.
While in college.
Oh yeah, I did
while
that.
in college.
Oh yeah.
Both my children will work while in high school. Both my children will work while in college, and it is not because they have to.
Yeah, because I worked at a bank. Can you believe that? I was a senior teller. I was in charge of ordering money and like dispersing money to people. Can you? I opened
in college?
Yeah, I worked 2 years at Pilot Bank. Shout out Pilot Bank on Fowler in Tampa.
Wow, are they still around?
They got. I think they're
I
still
learned
around.
something new about you,
Yeah,
John.
I knew about stuff. That's how I know about CDs and mortgages. That's how I knew there's a T in mortgage.
Wow, I was today years old when I
was a
knew
senior.
that about
Did
you.
you even read my resume? It was on it.
I stopped at Honestly, John, 13 years at EA Sports.
That's all it takes. Yeah, that's all you need to see.
Yeah, a degree in marketing from the University of Tampa, 13 years at EA Sports. EA Sports, 13 years. Here's what it tells me: Fortune 500 company, longevity.
I haven't updated my resume or my LinkedIn since. I'm serious.
You probably haven't. And hopefully you'll never need to,
I
right?
know, 'cause
Hopefully the rest of your career is going to be producer and
TLOP
co-host
oriented.
of the Lone Ocean Podcast.
There it is, yeah. But it started at Pilot Bank. That's how it started.
That's crazy. And we could go on and on about giving interview tips and how to dress for success. Just know that you need to be intentional. Just know. And then the follow-up. Y'all, when you score that interview, when your cousin hooks you up with their boss and their boss introduces you to the HR manager at that company with that career opportunity, what did you do to thank your cousin? What did you do to thank their boss? And how did you follow up with that HR manager?
I always send an email after the fact and say thank you for the opportunity.
Email minimum.
Handwritten
thank you note over the top. And if you really want it,
tickets, bribe them.
A small gift.
Yeah.
If you really wanted a small gift, especially if you can get creative with the messaging, like Pinterest creative with the messaging.
Yep.
Depending on what your profession is, will tell you the level of creativity or the amount of bandwidth you can display. For some, it's just going to be the email.
Listen, you don't even need to count, but if you come into an interview with Dio and wearing some UCF swag, he'll give you a job.
Tell you what, you want to show up and you have something UCF, we have a commonality. That's an interview skill, is to find commonality with the person that is interviewing you.
Got to Facebook stalk them on social, find out their likes, find out their interests, and then show up to the damn interview.
Well, and know this. Yeah. They're Facebook stalking you.
Hell yeah.
So what's your presence say about you on LinkedIn? Are you even on LinkedIn? If you're not, maybe you should get on there. What does your Facebook look like?
Parties and keg stands.
Hey, you better then be very difficult to find, and you should only be open to friends.
Yeah.
Right? Your profile should only be open to friends. Same thing about IG. Right? If I'm not following you, I shouldn't be able to see you on IG if you're posting nefarious stuff. Because we are going to go on IG, we are going to go on Facebook, and we are going to go on LinkedIn to look for you. Yeah. And if you're not on LinkedIn, are you a serious business professional?
Probably not.
I don't know. Right? But if I wanted to stand out, maybe I could send an email and I could LinkedIn connect with you and send you a LinkedIn message as a way to show my gratitude and to thank you for the time. Yeah. But it all starts with you. I think that's what's most important. What's most important from today's episode. And I think this is good to know because we're getting ready to enter into an environment where the Federal Reserve is doing everything in their power to make the labor market cool off. That means more unemployment. That means less job openings.
Oh, shit.
Well, less job openings and unemployment going up, that means it's going to get tighter and more competitive. Oh, my gosh, I have one more thing.
You keep trying to hang up the phone. Let's go.
I keep on trying. That was like the other night, we were sitting at the hotel lobby bar, like, just one more round. Just one more round. The guy was like, the bar closes at 10. Just one more, though.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Or when I'm sitting there rolling dice at the craps table.
High, yo.
And I keep on telling my wife's like ready to go to bed. And I'm like, no, just one more round around the table.
High, yo.
Yes. So anyhow, just one more. This is very important. Like very, very, very important.
Okay.
Especially in today's day and age. Y'all listen. Stop what you're doing and listen to this. If you don't have experience, if you require training, and your ass is also demanding work from home,
child, please.
Get the F out. Don't even bother me. Literally don't even bother me. I'm going to lose my ever-loving shit. Work from home is a privilege. Work from home is for those people who already know what they're doing. They're already at the top of their game. They're self-disciplined. They don't have distractions. At which point, they can do just as good of a job at home as they can in the office. But in many office environments, they still miss out on the synergy. They still miss out on the camaraderie, the team building. But I have seen all over Facebook, oh, I need to find a job. I'm newly licensed. Anyone know anyone who offers great training, good mentorship, and work from home? But get the out of here. Come on. What world do you live in? I want my wife to be hot and smart and funny and nice to me.
I mean, that's
That's what you want, John. You get 3 out of the 4. You pick those 3.
5 out of 10.
No, I met your wife. You got to have at least 7 out of 10,
I know,
if not 9 out of 10.
I
People look at the two of you. They're like, what is she doing with him?
I outkick my coverage.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. But I'm just saying to these career seekers, please,
entitled brats.
like who do you think you are that you're demanding?
They're millennials, Dustin.
It doesn't happen that way. Like, it just doesn't. So, nonetheless, look, if you have more questions as it pertains to this, we love doing this type of content.
Mm-hmm.
We have an entire catalog of episodes. We call ourselves the Loan Officer Podcast because I give advice as if I were your loan officer, not because we do content specifically for mortgage loan originators. Because you understand, a loan officer is someone who knows a thing about finance, a thing about economics, a thing about marketing, a thing about sales, running their own business, how to problem solve, and loan officers are connected with all of the top industries within their community because they serve them.
Yep.
You got to think, who buys a house and who gets a mortgage? People from all walks of life. Those are our clients. We learn from them. We educate them. We coach them. We teach them. And then in return, we live our life in a manner that allows us to practice what we preach. The show is called the Loan Officer Podcast, but do not let the name fool you. This is everything we should have learned in school, but didn't. He's John Coleman. I'm Dustin Owen. We look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.